What is happening, y'all? Welcome back to Beyond Organic Gardening. I'm so geeked to be making this video for y'all, like so geeked. What I'm going to be doing is I'm getting ready to start working on my garden for the year at our new home, and I couldn't be more excited. I mean, it's not just any garden. You know, I have real big plans coming up soon with it that I'll reveal and show y'all later on as it gets closer. But for now, I just got to get everything laid out, put down, and all that jazz. And I'm so geeked to be getting started. Well, a lot of you probably do know that new garden just about how antsy you can get. But I mean, this has been in the works for years, me trying to get something going like this. And now that I have the space and opportunity, I'm dumb geeked. But anyway, what I'm going to be doing is taking this garden. I already kind of started laying it out. It's really hard to see out here. I kind of got started on it up here and then stopped because it got cold, started snowing and whatnot. But this wasn't my first choice of an area to make this garden in, just because the original area I had thought it would be some difficulties getting water to if I needed to get water out there, or when I need to get water to it, and it would be a lot easier to get it, having it a little bit closer to the house. But it wasn't our first choice. No, it wasn't my first choice. My wife wasn't too fond of it either. We're in the front yard, and all of this is like a big old hayfield meadow, and it looks really pretty in the summer when it gets up nice and tall. So she didn't really want to disturb that, but I didn't think we had a choice. But I figured out how to run some water, how to get it from the house all the way up back to the area that we originally had planned. We're going to walk back up there in a second. I think I figured it out anyway. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I believe it'll work. It should work. I went and had some people I talked to, consulted with, and they said that it should be fine. So we're going to go ahead and rock with it. But what we're going to do in this video here is we're going to lay out the garden area. It's going to be, I'm planning on having it about 13,000 square feet, 14,000. It's going to be a big garden. I mean, it's going to be a really, really big garden. But I'll explain to y'all why exactly it's going to be so big just a little bit later on as I move forward and get closer and closer to the plans that I have for it. But as I go through and I take y'all and show y'all how I'm building this garden, it's going to be like a little series. As I'm building it, since it's going to be from scratch, I'm going to show y'all just my process, my line of thinking, and how I'm doing it from start to finish. And this will be good. This will be real good for, some newer gardeners too. I know a lot of y'all on here are newer gardeners, or people who might see this are newer gardeners. Usually there's a big influx at this time of year. Every year there's a large influx of newer gardeners, but due to the events of the past few years, if your head ain't been in the sand, then there's a really big influx over the past couple of years. And I don't blame them at all. I encourage it, and I respect y'all. And I encourage y'all to keep going and keep moving and keep pursuing this thing. Like, you can do it. You might have some troubles in the beginning, but it'll pan out. If you stick with it, it'll work out. The hardest part about getting started is getting started. So you're here, you took the first step, let's go. Now, before you even get to a layout, right? If you're planning on having a garden this year, before you even get to a layout, design, and all that stuff, you want to make sure you're getting adequate sunlight to the area that you're planning on growing in the first place. A minimum of 6 hours, absolute bare minimum 6 hours of sunlight. You want about 6 to 8. I would recommend going for more like 8 to 10 or 10 to 12. I aim for the higher end, 10 to 12, just because you can always grow shade. You have some veggies that don't like being in that direct sun during the hottest part of the day, or they benefit from just a little bit of break from the sun and get some shade on them. They're like filtered light. So you can always grow some shade in this garden. It's going to be like a food forest style type garden. So there's going to be a lot of fruit trees and fruit bushes and larger plants that I'm going to have out there. And you want plenty of light for your larger fruit trees and stuff. So I have plenty of light for those, but at the same time, they'll be providing shade for those smaller veggies that want a little break from the sun. So what you want to do is look at the area that you're planning on growing in, where you want your garden to be. Pay attention to that area throughout the day and keep track of how much sunlight is on that area throughout the day. I recommend doing that, but right now, it's still really early in the year. It's February, so the sun is going to be at a different position in the sky than it's going to be during the growing season. So the sunlight that you're getting to your particular gardening area it might not be the same once the growing season gets here. So what I recommend doing is getting a sun tracker app. I have an app called Sun Seeker, and I'll show y'all here in a second. But this app is only $10 in the App Store. I think it's a one-time purchase. But what it lets you do is track the sun and see what the sun's position is going to be at different times in the year. So as you can see right here, this line at the bottom, this blue line is for the winter solstice, right? So during December, winter time, all that jazz, you can see the dates on it. That's where the sun's position is in the sky at that time of year, right? You see the next one here, obviously the yellow, that's today. That's where the sun is right now. That's the path that it's taking. Then you see the green, that's for the spring equinox. That's where the sun's going to be in that time of year. And then you see the red, which is the summer solstice. That's the position that your sun's going to be in during basically the growing season, or the warm part of the year. So it just shows you where the sun is going to be, how much sunlight a particular area is going to get. So, and obviously, as you can see on that last one, if I went too fast, you didn't see it. You see this area that I have back here, I'm going to be getting about 10 to 12 hours of sunlight during the day, which is going to be great, right? Your fruit trees need a minimum of 8 hours of sunlight a day. So that'll be good. I have plenty of fruit trees, obviously food forest style, so I'm gonna need plenty of sunlight. Once you determine if your spot has gotten adequate sunlight or if it's not going to get adequate sunlight, you know, you make adjustments. Then once you have your garden area, whew, I'm tired walking up this hill. I'm out of breath like a bug. Then go ahead and start planning, making layouts and all that jazz. Because you don't want to do that with an area, obviously waste all that time and then figure out, dang, I can't do nothing in this area anyway. So before waste any time, waste any energy, and cause yourself unnecessary frustration, just make sure your spot doesn't get enough light. I'm up to the area. This is the original area I wanted to garden. You can see the house there, and then I have this big wide open spot back here. Gets plenty of sunlight, as y'all saw. And this is where I'm going to be putting the garden at. I have these stakes that I'm going to use to mark out the layout. I got these from Home Depot. Super cheap. They're like $4. It was like $3 or $4 for a pack of these. So they're pretty cheap. You can use those. And then the twine I got from there as well. I think it's, I want to say 1,000 feet, but I'm not positive, but it's a lot. So that's what I have there. A good portion of it is going to be food forest style garden. And then another portion of it is going to be more of like a market garden style type of garden. And again, I'll explain all of that later on about what I'm doing and with the plans that I have later on down the line. With that, you know, I'm kind of going to have two different gardens going on at the same time, two different styles of garden going on at the same time. So it'll be good for y'all. You know, y'all can see and determine that there's obviously a lot of different styles of growing and gardening, but these are two of, you know, some of the most popular methods, right? I have a market style garden, which is basically in-ground raised beds, and then back to Eden style gardening on the other parts. And as I go through and I lay those out and I establish those, you know, I'll talk y'all through and explain why I'm doing it one way and then why I'm doing the other one the other way. So that'll be good too. Whew. I tell you, this walking ain't no joke, man. This walking ain't no joke. Good little exercise. My wife is a weirdo, if God didn't know that by now. Where are you? Oh.
Where are we going?
Grab some stuff so I can go back up there. Start doing this thing.
Yeah, how come? My paint is drying. My goal is like one window a day. And I think really it might be easier just to replace the trim like we did in the bathroom, since it only costs like $20.
She's doing a lot of the inside work.
Yes.
A lot of the inside work. You can see all that on the other page, Life on Promise View, if you want to check out more of the renovations that's going on inside the crib. I'm taking care of the outside though. Also, we got cats, working cats. You'll see those later on too if you go check out that channel. But yeah, let's grab this tape measure. Every time I'm out here, I just get so overwhelmed how much the Lord has blessed me. I mean, it is just, it's wild. I don't want to say crazy or insane. It's just, man, I can't. I don't think it'll ever get old. Like, it is, he is so good, man. This is, oh my goodness. Whew. My brain be ready to explode if I think about it too much. It'd be like overwhelmed. I feel like I've been a pop. Wife went to go get her other boots and she has my mallet, so I gotta wait on her. Since I'm still waiting on her, I guess I'll explain more about why we picked this back area too. One, it gets a lot of sunlight, gets really good sunlight, but two, it's so much room, it's so much space, it's really open back here. If you're at the house and you kind of look in this direction, you see it's a lot of woods. See, the house is right there. There's a lot of woods and trees and whatnot right there, so it kind of looks pretty closed off and secluded, but it's cool when you come down and around and then walk up here and just see how much more it opens up, which is, you know, really cool. So one of the things that we want to do is just kind of have like different areas or sections to experience just around the property, and this is just one of them. Like the front yard, we didn't want to put it there, like I said before, because that's an area to experience. It's real big meadows, flowing meadows, and it just looks really cool, really pretty, like really dope when you pull in. So also it's relatively level up here, right? The ground's pretty flat. There's not too many undulations, no hills and stuff and whatnot, so it's not like we have to do a whole lot to compensate or do weird things to make the gardens and the bed, or make the garden and especially the beds work, you know, and account for different slopes and whatnot. So that'll be good. We don't really get, you know, heavy rains that are threatened to, you know, wash the beds away, and then we're not on the slope either where that water could wash and run down and sweep our beds away. So that's really good too, obviously, you know, since it's level. And the soil here is incredible. I mean, the soil here is nuts. So I mean, it soaks. We can have the heaviest rains and it all soaks right into the ground. So that's really dope too. That keeps it from becoming too waterlogged and threatening to wash away everything. Right now she's here. We're kind of surveying to see if there are any low spots and dips in the big area that we're growing in, so we can see, you know, just how far or where to start. I was going to start back there, but there's a little dip right there that would be in part of the garden that looks like it could potentially collect water if there's just way too much rain. So I don't even want to have to run into that issue later on down the road, so we're going to completely avoid that. So she has moved up. So we moved up quite a few feet, so we're a little bit past that. So we're going to run, I think we're going to run it 100 feet this way, and then we're going to run it back up this way, because there doesn't seem to be any other dips anywhere that we'll have to be worried about. So all right, this video is already going a little bit longer than I intended, and instead of having y'all sit around for forever watching all this, then I'm going to end it here. Now, we talked a good bit about, you know, just how to get your garden started or what to look for, right? We talked about sunlight, how much sunlight you want, how you determine your garden area is getting adequate sunlight, whether it's just paying attention to the sun or getting the sun tracker, and also why you want to have the minimum requirement, or why you can even aim, or why you should aim for even higher light requirements as well, especially if you're growing bigger, larger plants like fruit trees and such. So what I think we're gonna do now, we're just gonna go ahead, cut the video, end it. We got through some good stuff. The next phase, the next video I'm gonna post is exactly how I'm laying out this garden, just how I'm setting the border, and then how I'm gonna make the beds for the market garden style bed based off of those borders, right? Because it's kind of hard to get a 90-degree angle if you don't really know what you're doing or how to do it. And I'm saying that because I know this. I just very recently learned how to make an edge square. So when I say very recently, I'm talking like in the past few days. I just learned, because I could never figure out how to get a freaking straight line for a bed. I could always get them reasonably straight, like just by eyeing it, but this is how to get it borderline perfect 90 degrees. So show you all that in the next video, and we'll keep going from there. So stay tuned. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all watching the video. it's time. Like it's here. I got plenty more videos that's gonna be coming pretty much throughout the entire year. Like it's time to get rocking and rolling. I'm gonna aim for posting 2 times a week. That's the goal. But if not, at least once a week. So again, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. If you like the video, go ahead and stick around. Plenty more stuff coming. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in a couple days. Peace.